It's the book of Revelation 14 and 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Shalom, Barakatham, to the hopeful elect. So this lesson sparked off a conversation I was having with a brother about how when one day these people in America, Babylon the Great, are going to wake up, and their whole world is going to be turned upside down. And when that happens, they're going to be led to the slaughter, which is to receive that mark. All right, which we just read Revelation 14 and 8 on down, and they're going to be missile meat. All right, missile meat, and we just envisioned it like all these people are going to be lined up because they're going to say that the system is crashed, everything is crashed out. The only way you can have security is if you take this device. And that's why we believe that this year, 2024, is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. All right, because in order for the mark of the beast to be made mandatory, all hell has to break loose. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Shai B'Hashem Chakadash Barakatah, to the brother Yeshaya. Shalom. All right, so Revelation 14 and 8 again mentions Babylon is fallen, which is where? America. Okay. Why? Because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And what is that? The philosophy of America, democracy, alphabet gang, consumerism, capitalism. All right. American overly sex sells culture, right? All the nations drank of that and they became drunken. That's why all of the nations now, you see Americanization, the effect of it. You look in other nations, formerly they had some kind of wherewithal. They had some kind of dignity about themselves. They all go to hell off, but they were still holding on to some of their traditions. But now every nation is seeking to be Americanized for the most part. And the third angel followed them saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, which is NATO and the EU, all right, which America is the head of the beast. America is the leader of the beast. Okay. And his image, which is the system. Okay, the political, religious, economic systems of America, Babylon the Great, and in NATO and the EU. And receive his mark. So this is so we all at one point worship the beast in his image. All that means is that you believe in America, Babylon the Great. You want to have a future here. You believe in American democracy. You believe in the political system. You believe that there's some kind of salvation for you in this, that there's some kind of way for you to live the life you want to live and to exist within this place. Well, then you are worshiping the beast in his image. All right, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. But this is the differentiation. This is what's going to mark you for death. If you get that charagma, that bio device, that implantable chip, RFID chip, okay, if you get it in your forehead or in your hand or anywhere on your body, your ass is grass, man. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Right, you're going to drink of that cup. All right, the Lord is going to have you pour out that cup of pride, that cup of death, that cup of destruction, and you're going to drink that. Okay, you're going to drink that cup down. Okay, which is a symbolic of what? The Lord destroying you with fire. All right, with his indignation. All right. So reading on, it says, so they shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, indignation is righteous hatred, and the fire and brimstone is going to come by the way of the nuclear missiles, which are going to be shot off into the ends of the earth, primarily into America, Babylon the Great. That's where you get the imagery of the lake of fire from the book of Revelation. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So the smoke of their torment, which is going to be what? The pain and the anguish, all right, which is going to be the destruction of America is going to be immortalized. All right, so you can understand in what way, because America is going to be left as a mark. America is going to be the landmass of North America is going to be marred, left as a desert for eternity. So that's how the smoke is going to ascend up forever and ever. All right, who worship the beast in his image, and it's going to be going up for a long time. The smoke, all that smoke, everything, this whole place is going to go up in smoke. But eventually, when the smoke and the dust settles, the memory of the destruction will go on forever as well. All right, but why will they have no rest? Because they worship the beast in his image and receive the mark of his name. Okay, so that's where the Lord draws the line, because we all repented from worshiping the beast in his image. All right, and you can still repent from worshiping the beast in his image, but once you receive that mark, and the prophets have been telling you, nobody will have an excuse, because the prophets have been blaring loud as can be in the major cities of America, online, every which way and angle that the Lord has us spreading it out. The message is getting out there. And if you go and get it, you have no cloak for your sin. You have no excuse, because it's been pronounced to you what is the judgment for receiving that mark. All right, so let's get Isaiah. Not going to be a long lesson, just want to throw that out there, man. These people are going to be missile meat. All right, so the imagery that popped into my head was these people getting lined up to go get that chip and thinking that that's going to be their salvation, thinking that that's going to be their deliverance. But Esau might as well hang you up by your feet and run the FEMA camp as a slaughterhouse, because that's what it's going to be. All right. Once you get that, there's no turning back, and once you get it, you're marked for death. Okay. Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So traditional combat, you have swords clanging, you have shields, you have men crying out because they're being dismembered and eviscerated. But this one is going to be with fuel and fire. Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord, let me read this, 14. And when you see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And that's, us receiving this truth, seeing the time of judgment. We were comforted, right? Because the verse before that mentions that we were comforted, right? Ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. So the comfort came by the way of this truth. So we rejoice, and we see the end of these things. It says, and when you see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb, and the hand of the Lord shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies, right? So the hand of the Lord, which is Yahweh Shai, he is known towards us. And the indignation of the Lord, which is also going to come through Yahweh Shai, is going to be known towards his enemies, which the primary enemy of the Heavenly Father is the so-called white man, the Edomites. All right, the wicked of our people are also primary enemies. The other nations are also enemies. So the Lord has a lot of enemies, and his indignation, which we just read about that in Revelation 14, the indignation, by them drinking that cup, the Lord is going to pour out his wrath and let his indignation. He doesn't approve of what America's doing. He is strictly and vehemently against it. That's why it says he will not meet thee as a man. The Lord ain't coming to the United Nations table and say, well, yeah, I'm the true representative of Israel. I'm the king. Now I'm about to take things over, but we can come to it. Let's make a treaty, and he's not coming to do that. He's coming to conquer. Okay? For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. So the Lord Yahweh Shai is coming with a fiery judgment. The chariot's going to have the concentrated beams, all right? Beams that just, you could light a whole, in an instant, could incinerate a whole city block, vaporize whatever they want to, all right? These chariots that the Lord is coming with have power like this world has never seen, all right? It says to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. All right, so the fuel of the fire that we just read about in Isaiah, the 9th chapter, is going to be these people. All right. So the flames of fire are coming. He's going to render his anger with fury. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, meaning judge. Okay. And the slain of the Lord shall be many. So there will be many that are going to consent, and they're going to mindlessly go on. They're going to mindlessly march unto their own demise. All right. That's why I entitled it the missile meat Chippin lines will be packed out soon, because this is what it's all being prepared for. You will not be able to buy or sell without this. And what kind of situation would they be able to have where you're that desperate and you're that, because a lot of people, you ask them now, they'll say they're against it, but it's a different thing to say it now, and then it's a different thing for you to say it when they take away your ability to eat. They take away your ability to do this, do that. Okay, so it's going to be a very different situation. It's going to be a very different situation when that day comes. So you could say now that you wouldn't do it, but when the time comes, it's going to be a whole different ball game. Okay? Let me grab this real quick about the congregation of the dead, because these people are going to all be lined up, man. You're going to see the line. Just like you saw the lines for the jab, the yabba dabba do, just like you saw that, you're going to see the lines for the chip. Proverbs 21:16. And I'm going to close it out with this. And this is why you need guidance from the Lord through his servants, through the prophets. Proverbs 21:16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. You see? So you wander out of the way of understanding, which is what? This truth. And where will you remain? In the congregation of the dead. All right? It's just you're spiritually dead. And eventually that's going to lead to you being physically put to death. All right? So that's why it's so important for us to warn and let the people know what's going on, so that when that day comes, they won't be able to say, well, nobody told me this. And what are we doing? We're getting the blood off of our hands. Like Apostle Paul said, he said he was warning the people day and night, all right, in order to clean his hands off of their blood, right? Okay, because if we do know that this is coming and then we don't say it, well, you had a guy that came on one of the brothers' comments and he was saying that Nate can't say the name because it won't allow him, this white man won't allow him to do what he has to do. But you're proving our point. See, the Lord we don't have to have an agreement with Esau to get this word out. So we're not compromised whatsoever. We don't have to do this and that, because I want to have an Israelite school and I want to be able to help the community. No, the message, the purity of the message is more important than anything, because that's what's going to deliver you from death, not some damn school and making money and then giving you some black economics spiel. That ain't going to help nobody. All right. It may help you in the short term, but in the long term, it ain't helping nobody. All right. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. And missile me to come. The brother dropped a priest. Let me see. You know what? Yeah, that's a good one. Chazak ben Yehowadah for Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. You see? So they're going to think that they're going into a good place. They're thinking that, well, the government got us. Because they're going to wake up one day, a nigga, he done had a whole night of partying and drinking. He going to wake up on a Saturday, rub the coal out of his eyes and shit, and then he's going to turn on the TV. You're going to hear, everyone, every American, please report to your local FEMA protection center. Because they ain't gonna say it's a FEMA camp. They're gonna say your federal safety center. Please report in order to be protected. We are currently at war. The economy has crashed. This is going to be all happening in a very quick amount of time. Outside is going to be pandemonium. You're going to see car fires and different shit. All right. And what are they going to do? They're going to line up. They're going to go there and they're going to get that. And they're going to be sealed for death. Okay. But it seems right. It seems like the right thing to do. Well, I'm just protecting my family. Well, I got to eat, right? But you have to have faith. How are we going to get the kingdom without our faith being tested? And that's the major test of our faith, the hour of temptation. All right. But the end thereof are the ways of death. Okay. Isaiah 58:1, cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and shew my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins. So that's what we do. We cry aloud. We don't spare feelings. We don't hold back. We don't hold punches, pull punches. We give you the raw. And if at the end of the day, if you can get this raw truth, then ultimately the Lord will have mercy on you and deliver you. If you can receive this and you're of the nation of Israel, because that's the only ones that's going to receive it, then what's going to happen? You're going to be delivered. But if not, and you turn away, all right, the scriptures say whether they hear or forbear. Okay, so whether you receive it or not is really out of our hands. And at the end of the day, it's not really our concern, because we already know the Lord is going to have it reach the elect who's meant to hear it. Okay, so if you don't get it, we ain't going to sit there and go back home in the car and beat ourselves up like, man, if only I could have convinced that guy, man, I would have done my job properly today. No, at the end of the day, we teach the truth. All right, we break things down to you. We're patient also. All right, but at the same time, hey, just like the Lord's patience is running thin, so he's got the same spirit on his prophets. We don't have a whole lot of time for Jake to snap into it. So that's why we're teaching with a sense of urgency, to let you know and to warn you about these things, about the mark of the beast, about what's going to happen to you if you get it. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and close it out right there. Lord's will, I can expound on this in depth a little more in another lesson, but for now, I'll just leave it at that. Point was made. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakodash. Hey, shalom to the next one.